In October 1999, Fight Club opened to a weak $11 million. It was bashed by critics and dismissed as a box office failure. Today, it stands as a cultural monument, though the reasons it remains relevant have shifted as its original audience aged. The film's launch was crippled by internal and external pressures. Studio executives were terrified of the ultra-violent story, and the marketing campaign was further complicated when the Columbine shooting shocked the nation just 6 months before the premiere. Psychologist Carl Jung identified a concept he called the shadow, the parts of our personality we hide, repress, or deny because society deems them bad. Jung argued that the more we push these traits down, the more likely they are to eventually erupt in destructive ways. Edward Norton's character is the embodiment of this repression. He lives a decent life in a decent condo, but his inability to handle the pressures of adulthood causes his shadow to manifest as an alter ego, the free, capable, and violent Tyler Durden. Many teenage viewers in the 90s looked past this mental fracture. They saw a man losing his mind and mistook his breakdown for a revolutionary lifestyle they should try to emulate. On school buses and in basements, a generation of middle schoolers obsessed over Tyler Durden. They memorized his rules and idolized him as the ultimate anti-establishment hero of the underground. Watching it as an adult reveals a different layer to the story. The film operates as a pitch-black satire, using over-the-top manifestos to mock the very men who believe they are fighting back. Viewed through this lens, the narrator isn't a hero. He's a whiny dude who can't handle being an adult. He and his followers revert to a primitive state of vandalism because they feel cast aside by modern life. By treating the violence as a cool release, the film's original fan base unknowingly became the demographic the movie was actively satirizing. The characters describe themselves as the middle children of history, men with no great war or cause of their own. They feel suffocated by a corporate landscape where the things they own end up owning them. The movie weaponized shared, mundane irritations to build its sense of rebellion, focusing heavily on the small indignities and lack of control we endure while traveling. On a flight, Tyler Durden claims that airplane oxygen masks exist solely to get passengers high and docile during a catastrophic emergency, ensuring they calmly accept their fate. The science says otherwise. Masks are there to provide breathable air as the plane descends to a lower altitude. It is actually the lack of oxygen, hypoxia, that causes passengers to feel euphoric and giggly instead of stressed. These conspiratorial narratives served as a psychological hook, convincing alienated men that they had uncovered secret truths about a rigged system. In the movie, the club's activities quickly escalate. What starts as a private release of tension in bar basements transforms into organized public acts of vandalism and assault. Project Mayhem functions like a cult. It demands total obedience, strips away individual identity, and uses brainwashing to turn recruits into a paramilitary force. This fictional pipeline from 1999 mirrors the tactics used to recruit bored or angry men in modern digital spaces. The film's paramilitary outfits and grievances against society echo the rhetoric of today's macho influencers, incel movements, and various online militias. The societal shadow depicted 25 years ago has migrated online, proving that bored men will still seek out a shared cause to justify their rage. While the fictional Project Mayhem carried out sabotage on screen, a parallel battle broke out behind the camera between filmmakers and the corporate establishment. Producer Bill Mechanic fought a constant war with Fox executives, including media mogul Rupert Murdoch, over the film's anti-corporate messaging and its dismal box office potential. The friction caused by the movie's production, along with other disappointing returns, eventually led to Mechanic being fired from the studio. Before he left, Mechanic made a final suggestion to director David Fincher: include the real-world Fox Plaza Tower among the skyscrapers exploding in the finale as a permanent tribute to Rupert Murdoch. The production of the film became an act of defiance in its own right, as the filmmakers weaponized the studio's own budget to attack its values. The film's ending still triggers a response from the establishment today. In 2022, the movie's anti-system conclusion caused a literal state-level reaction in China. On the streaming platform Tencent, the finale was quietly censored. The iconic scene of collapsing buildings was removed entirely. Viewers were instead presented with a written note claiming the police successfully thwarted the bomb plot and sent the narrator to an asylum for treatment. Global mockery and a massive online backlash followed the change, eventually forcing the platform to restore the original destructive ending. The author of the original novel pointed out that the censored Chinese ending was actually closer to his book, where the bombs failed to explode and the protagonist wakes up in a mental hospital. Whether on a personal, societal, or global level, the film highlights a recurring pattern. You cannot permanently sanitize or ignore a shadow. Eventually, the repressed material forces its way back to the surface.